Professor Isaac Folorunsho Adewole was born on Wednesday, the 5th day of the month of May in 1954 to late Pape Benjamin Ainoa Jenifuja Adewole and Madam Florence Munisola Adewole in Ilesha, then in the Old Western State and now in the state of Osun. His father was one of the foremost traders at Ilesha at that time. As it seems to be with men destined to be great, by accident or divine design, baby Isaac, now a world-renowned obstetrician and gynecologist, was born in the most unusual place for safe delivery. He was born in a vehicle with no medical care. Yet, as destined to be, he survived as the fifth of 6 children.
Young Isaac Folorunsho Adewole was a very obedient child who focused on his studies, avoiding every distraction.
Oh, my dad, látàárọ̀ gùtù ló ti jọ́ ọmọ dáadáa. Kì í ṣọmọ aláìsàn, kì í ṣọmọ kó ní ìyọnu ẹ̀ ní ìyọnu. Nígbà tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe kékeré ayé rẹ̀, kò ní ìyọnu ọmọ dáadáa ni. Ṣé ìjọmọ aláàánú?
As a youth, one thing I noticed in him, he was a very obedient child, very studious. Whatever you tell him, he will do. If only go and read your book, he will read his book.
As young as he was then, he was greatly motivated by what he used to see at Wesley Guild Hospital, Ilesha, which was one of the best hospitals in Nigeria then. The hospital was manned by expatriates and physicians of faith belonging to the Methodist mission. This contact greatly influenced his desire to become a medical doctor. As a child, he used to simulate the doctor's duties.
When I was young, I could recollect my interaction with the hospital missionaries, and my leadership, the leadership my father had with them largely influenced what I am today. I was told that I ended up recreating the hospital environment in my father's shop, and will call imaginary and fictitious names, asking them to come for their medication, to come for injection. And I think in a small way, I started acting like a doctor even while I was young.
In 1960, Isaac Folorunsho Adewole, fondly called Folly by family and friends in his early years, started his schooling in Ogudu Methodist School, Ilesha. However, his loving uncle, Mr. Oluabi, who treated young Isaac with absolute affection, took him to Ibadan, where he continued his education at Methodist Primary School, Okeado, Ibadan. In 1962, his uncle was transferred to Akure and he had to relocate with him. Consequently, young Foley finished his primary education at St. Matthias Demonstration School, Akure, in 1965.
My mother is a junior cousin to the professor's dad, Papa Adewole, you know. So I'm related to him on my maternal side. Before he came down to me, he was attending school at Ogudu Methodist School, Ilesha. And then when he came, being Methodist, I put him in the Methodist school. We had once taught, Okeado Methodist School. But shortly after we got down there, he came down, I got transferred to Akure. And so he had to move with me to Akure, where now he attended the Matthias Demonstration School.
He was a student of the prestigious Ilesha Grammar School, where he had his secondary and advanced level education from 1966 to 1972. He did the school proud by earning Division I with distinction in 1970. He completed his advanced level education in 1972, still maintaining excellence in all subjects. He was indisputably a distinguished student. It is therefore not surprising that Isaac Adewole was employed in Ilesha Grammar School to teach chemistry and biology for 7 months after his graduation from his alma mater.
What brought me very, very close to him was when he was denied to be given the honor of being one of the prefects in HSC2. The code of the school then was that anybody who is in grade 1 is entitled to be a prefect when he crosses over to HSC2. So 2 of them, Professor Adewole and Professor Adewole, were denied. They said they were too young. I think Professor Adewole was 18 then, and Professor Adewole was 17-9. Well, I was a young man myself then. Because these brilliant students were denied to be given just the post, immediately I tendered a letter of my resignation.
Of all the universities he was offered admission to study in, teenage Isaac Adewole chose the highly esteemed University of Ibadan to study medicine.
One of the things I remember was when we met in 1973 when we all came to medical school, I recall him having a discussion with me to say, if you are Jayoba, then it must be your name and my own name that was published in the Pupil, which was the publication of the Western Nigeria Ministry of Health at that time for people who have distinguished themselves in advanced level examination. I remember the 2 of us had A distinction in biology, and that was how we got into the University of Ibadan.
I've known Professor Adewole for about 40 years. That's close to 2/3 of his life. That's when he entered the University of Ibadan as a young student. It was remarkable because you could always distinguish him from others in the sense that he was very friendly and he was very quick at responding to questions and very inquisitive. This really marked him out right from an early age as someone who will achieve a lot.
He worked assiduously and graduated in 1978. The divinely propelled young Adewole, who was born in a potentially fatal circumstance with no doctor or nurse in attendance some years earlier, decided to specialize in obstetrics and gynecology.
As an undergraduate student, he was highly committed to his studies and passed his exams at the appropriate time, demonstrating interest in obstetrics and gynecology specialty.
When he wanted to do obstetrics and gynecology, I encouraged him because I knew that he had a very good flair for being passionate with people. And he was one of those people who would be able to look after women in particular.
As a student of the University of Ibadan, Isaac Folorunso Adewole was outstanding. He won many awards and scholarships. He was a National Award Scholar. He got the J.F. Kennedy Zone Award Prize, as well as essay competition prizes. These achievements were credited to good parentage, positive strict upbringing, and his father's great love for education.
Father was a very strict person, and one must also credit father for his absolute love for education. You can get money from my father when you link it up with education. If you ask for money to buy a dress, you are not likely to get it. But if you link it with a book or a fee to be paid in school, you get it.
Isaac Adewole was employed as Lecturer 1 in University of Ibadan in 1989 and attained the dignified position of professor in 1997.
As a resident doctor, he performed his assignment with well-known spirit of excellence, selflessness, dignity, and professionalism. And this is why the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology actually gave him an opportunity for employment as a lecturer consultant at the University of Ibadan. And he has risen through the ranks because of his research output and his character to the level of professorship in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology.
He has functioned in many capacities as acting head of departments, the last dean of Faculty of Clinical Science and Dentistry, and Provost College of Medicine, University of Ibadan. He's also an adjunct professor at Northwestern University, Chicago, Illinois, in the United States of America.
Continuing to demonstrate these same sterling qualities, outstanding qualities. He was always out there. He wasn't in the background at all.
In 2010, Professor Isaac Folorunso Adewole became the 11th Vice Chancellor of the esteemed University of Ibadan, the position in which he has successfully achieved much.
I think Professor Adewole, as a Vice Chancellor, without any doubt, has remarkable administrative skills that he has demonstrated. And without any doubt, he will leave a legacy for others to build upon in the University of Ibadan in terms of maintaining and sustaining high academic standard.
Today, Professor Isaac Adewole, the child born exactly 60 years ago, is a world-renowned obstetrician and gynecologist, a world-acclaimed researcher with over 200 publications, and a winner of numerous scholarships, fellowships, and prizes, including the prestigious Bixby Leadership Fellowship, Guttmacher Institute, USA, and the Fellowship of the West African College of Surgeons.
Professor Adewole has outstanding qualities as a researcher. He's an excellent team builder. He has innovative ideas, and is very easily convinced to take on the very difficult tasks, difficult research assignments.
Professor Adewole has earned himself a place in the academic environment as evidenced by many research activities that he was involved with. I was privileged to collaborate with him on sexual and reproductive health activities, including abortion and also family planning. And in particular, in the last 10 years, we have collaborated through the AIDS Prevention Initiative in Nigeria on HIV/AIDS-related activities.
Professor Isaac Adewole is an astute administrator with a wide range of experience nationally and internationally, among which is his membership of the Governing Council, Association of Commonwealth Universities, London, from 2013 to 2015. A member of University of Ibadan Governing Council from 2007 to date, the Vice Chancellor of University of Ibadan is a brilliant administrator with a flair for dynamism.
Professor Isaac Folorunso Adewole, I would describe as a very astute, effective, and humane leader. As the Vice Chancellor, his approach to leadership is such that anybody working closely with him, they have no option but to work hard.
He has a good record in his area of specialization, which he has deployed to the services of the university in the position of Vice Chancellor. And in the process, he has also been able to institutionalize a number of things in the university which may not be obvious to an outsider. Like, I'm not aware that there was a finance management committee before he became Vice Chancellor. Now he instituted one. Even the principal officers meeting, he enlarged the membership and has tried to, as much as possible, to institutionalize a transparency in the operations of the university.
I see him as a good administrator who runs what I would call inclusive administration. That is, whatever happens, at least the principal officers, necessary documentations are passed to us. And this approach makes it easier for us.
This is someone that has successfully demystified the bureaucracy of office without necessarily desecrating that position. I've learned a lot from him, very much.
As an administrator, Professor Isaac Adewole is resolutely dedicated to good accounting and prudent financial management.
And I found him to be a thorough person. Thorough in all areas of management, but particularly in the area of financial management. He comes across as someone who is very prudent. And prudence is a major attribute of a good financial manager.
Professor Adewole's skill in prudent financial management is attributable to his parental background, with both father and mother as traders.
I function as the accountant, the auditor to my father. And some of those things I learned while young helped in no small way in what I'm doing today.
Professor Adewole is happily married with successful children. His wife is Dr. Bukola Adewole, an obstetrician gynecologist like him. His first son is also a medical doctor. He has a son in the U.S. Army, and another one is into research in the area of immunology.
I think the most distinguishing thing about him is that he's a deeply caring person. He cares deeply about people. He's a very loving person, about his children, about this family, about immediate family, even extended family. He cares deeply about what happens to other people, and it will go a long way to try and take care of people. To his children, well, I think most of us will say, I wish I had a father like that.
Wale Adewole from the U.S. and with me is Atinuke Adewole.
And Kathy Adewole.
I tell Atinuke here, if I'm half the dad Grandpa is, I'll still be the greatest dad in the world. And we'd like to thank you for everything you do in our lives, the support and everything you do in the lives of the others. We recognize your great work in the world.